Welcome back, everybody. It's now 6:40. Joining me now is X Game champ, author, and photographer, Kevin Michael Connolly. We call you Kevin.
Yeah, sometimes if you want.
Or we call you Kevin Michael if we're mad at you. This is his book, Double Take, and this book basically is a story, or your story, obviously, of what people do when they react to you. Now, you were here yesterday. I met you yesterday.
Yeah.
The first thing I would tell someone about meeting you yesterday is you are a completely normal guy with a great attitude.
Oh, thank you.
But that's not necessarily the case when people see you for the first time.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of like the basic rundown of what I did, especially during the latter half of the book, when I'd kind of grown up, I was 18, 19, 20 years old, and started traveling, was rolled around the world, and took photos of people staring at me. It originally began as a photo project called The Rolling Exhibition, and from there blossomed into this book. And, the whole reason I wanted to write it was to better talk about this kind of visual dialogue, like what happens when we stare at each other and the assumptions that we make sometimes.
And you traveled to, I think, 17 countries, is that correct?
17 at the time. I think we're somewhere like 25, 26 now. Yeah.
And some of these countries, depending on, here are some of the photos we're showing that are of the Rolling Exhibition, the one there on the left. Tell us a little bit about that. That's obviously in Paris. That's the Arc de Triomphe there.
Yeah, that one was taken in Paris about my third or fourth week into the trip, which was during the summer of 2007. And then the one on the other side of the screen is a little girl in London. And if you look at the bottom, you see all those carved out rivets, made a really high-pitched noise while I was riding on the skateboard.
Right. and visual effects,
happens.
Very nice.
Yeah.
If you look at both those photos, and there's a number of them in the book, a big montage here on the both inside and outside cover, it is the facial expressions that these people, they're all very different, obviously all very different faces from all these countries around the world, but as you were talking about yesterday, depending on where you were in the world, the reaction and the assumption of how you became you in their mind was based upon their thought. For example, I would assume in Bosnia people thought something about the war or somewhere else.
And it would be more than someone just saying, were you in the war? It would be people, coming up and giving you money or apologizing or crying. I mean, really, really intense reactions that were oftentimes based kind of on the country from which they came. So, I had a guy in my hometown in Montana ask if I still wore my dog tags from Iraq. And if you look at, say, that moment in Sarajevo in Bosnia and the one in Iraq, you can see that they're very different and couldn't be interchanged. The cool thing contrasting that, though, is that at the same time you have all these photos where regardless of, what background you have, you're going to look the same at a certain point. So. And
bottom line is you were born this way, you've never known anything differently, and you consider yourself, this to you is normal.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that was always the big thing to reconcile, and kind of the big thing I had to overcome in the middle chunk of this book was that, I grew up just not having legs. It was normal for me, but very different for everyone else. Right.
Well, it's a very interesting book, and the photos, we can see them here. There's a rolling exhibitions at the UK campus. Quickly, that is at the, tell us where that is. That's the Rasdale Center?
Yes, that is.
Or gallery, that is?
Yep. It's at the Rasdale Gallery, and the book's on shelves now, and I know the photos are in there as well. So.
Yep, 11 to 5, Monday through Friday, UK campus. Kevin Michael Connolly. Kevin.
Hey.
Pleasure to meet you, my friend, and good luck. And pick up his book. It's interesting read and some great photos.
Thanks, man.
Well, speaking of interesting, Mary has an interesting forecast. It's going to be pretty nice. She'll have that coming up next.